How's everybody doing? Good, thanks. It's tough getting up here. Oh man, the front is special. It's a group of young, talented players. They're playing with a lot of confidence right now. They're physical, they're violent, they're fast. I think if you had to circle an area, for them that you would highlight, it's the defensive line.
Do you see guys maybe as having an identity now on offense as to what you are, and just trying to get better at that?
I think so. I think the thing that when you form an identity, if you don't make your own identity, people make it for you. So our biggest thing with our identity is consistency right now. We've had ups and downs. We took a step back last week. We took a step forward in this past game. So I think we just need more consistency overall. But I think we know who we are. I think we know the formula to win games. We just have to do it on a consistent level.
Specific to the run game, how have you seen the relationship develop between the offensive line, and I know it's still kind of a work in progress, but you guys are starting to build some continuity there, and the guys in the backfield, DeAndre,
Yeah, it goes hand in hand. Those guys work together. Obviously, those big guys are going to open up the holes, and I think our backs have done a nice job of finding the holes that are there. Really proud of those guys. The offensive line got a game ball last week from their performance. Being able to run the ball 31 times is what we need to do in those situations. We felt like we could come out and we really challenged those guys early in the week to dominate the line of scrimmage in the pass and the run, and I thought they held up to their end of the bargain. But, running backs and linemen, those are like peas in a pod. They work hand in hand.
Seems like you guys have found some consistency on the offensive line. John was saying he's hopeful that it's the same group as last week. Do you think you can start to get some of the same consistency of personnel at wide receiver as well?
I think so. I think we've kind of zeroed in on who we're going to work with on game day. I think that'll show more as we go forward. But consistency again and continuity is something we're still striving to get. And I think hopefully this week we'll have a lineup in there that looks similar to last week as far as offensive line goes.
There was some surprise that Kendrick didn't play last week after he caught 4 for 41 in Tennessee. What went into that decision, and why didn't he play?
Yeah, we're going to put the guys out there that give us the best chance. And, Kendrick did some really good things in that game. He's a big part of this offense. Just felt like there were some areas where he could improve, and that was kind of based on that. But he'll be a big part of us moving forward. He brings a lot of energy to the field, and his efforts exceptional. So, it's just the way it went last week. It could change week to week right now, but he's a big part of our team.
Now, with regarding continuity and creating that and enjoying that over the course of time, how much does that expand your playbook? In other words, how much has your playbook been limited to this point by the lack of continuity?
I would say there's portions of it you don't feel comfortable running just because all the moving pieces. But as we continue to have the same lineup out there week after week, we really understand what these guys do well. And then again, as we always try to put them in the best position to be successful. So, maybe a play gets run only to the right in a certain situation and not to the left. So there's things now that we're starting to understand more about our players now that we get the same groups out there week after week.
Alex, with 7 wide receivers, and it seems like none has really established himself. They're all trying to prove themselves. Has that made it harder as an offense instead of having 2 guys who you can count on as like the number 1 and 2
I mean,
receivers?
everything's a challenge, and it does give you some different challenges for sure. But I think they're all good football players, and they all do things very well in their individual skill sets. So it's our job as the staff is to put those guys in positions to be successful, and I think we're getting to see that now. Booty's a guy that's come on and played really well for us too. Really happy with his play. Polk's going to get going again as we move forward. Pop's Mr. Consistent. Makes big plays for us all over the field. So we're getting closer.
Kayshawn, he's been the leading snap getter at wide receiver. Is that based on his consistency, or does the position he plays within the offense factor into that as well?
A little bit of both. I think he's our most consistent receiver right now, making plays on the ball in the pass game. I think that has something to do with it, and where he plays also.
When we talk about identity and formula, how much of this season has been trying to fit to the vision you've had from the get-go, like the way your system is supposed to operate, versus we're figuring out the talent we have and the best way to move forward with that?
Well, everybody has a system, and if it doesn't work with the pieces, then you're going in the wrong direction. So it's our job to find the right pieces and the right schemes to put those guys in successful situations. There's areas where I thought we could, within this offensive scheme, we could do more. But sometimes those don't fit the skill set of the guys at times. For us, we're a big line up front. I think we can move people off the ball. So, sometimes you get away from some of the other schemes in your system just to fit the skill set of your players.
It seems obviously Drake's done a lot of good things, but when it comes to the turnovers, like how do you kind of get that message across to try to cut down on those types of plays?
Well, that's a play that'll haunt him for the rest of the season. That was as easy as it gets to throw it away over the head of the tight end there and just short-armed it a little bit and got stuck. But, other than that, we got to take care of the ball in the pocket from a ball security standpoint. And I think we've worked that each week moving forward. Not worried about it. He's a guy that he's going to make plays down the field, and he's going to, have plays that are made by the defense down the field. That's just the mentality of him as a passer. But that one the other day, I'm not worried at all about. That was just a errant pass by him that 10 out of 10 times he's throwing that over the head and getting back in the huddle.
Is it fair to chalk some of that up to just rookie mistakes?
Absolutely. Yeah, he's still growing. He's still a pup, so that'll be one that I'm sure it'll haunt him for the rest of the year, and he'll learn from moving forward. That thing we always say, if nobody's open, there's one guy that's always open, and that's the tuba player in row 4. So I like to see him put that ball right in the tuba.
Speaking of that, what was it like to practice the reverse flea flicker,
Yeah.
bubble screen, or what have you?
Yeah.
And you try to get it down pat.
That's fun. That's, you should always have something in for the guys. I always felt like, if you have a trick play or two in, the guys kind of light up when you call it in practice. Sometimes those plays spend weeks in the hopper, we call it, and just getting it ready, and then using it at the right time. That play historically in my career of calling that one or watching that one called, you would expect a huge gain based on the numbers out there, but for whatever reason, I think it's about 8 yards. But it's fun to practice. Going against a team like that runs to the ball hard, misdirection was an area we thought we could, maybe make some plays.
Coach, you mentioned the size of some, perspective about the league, and it's been around a while. How much would you attribute the defensive evolution of the league to what Coach McVay specifically done with his system, and obviously the copycats that have followed? I understand he's part of a larger tree himself, but
Defensively?
Yeah, reaction to his system and how effective it was as soon as he got there.
Yeah, no, you talking about defensive systems?
Yeah, how defenses have changed. How much do you ascribe to him versus?
Yeah, no, I mean, their defenses, they do some unique things for sure. Defensively, they present problems. Again, their front guys are their best guys, so they give you some different looks that I haven't seen this year or in years past. There's some similarities in the personnel groupings, but the structure of the defense is a little bit different and multiple throughout the course of the game. So they've definitely evolved in the system. I think it's unique on how they run their system.
Alex, how have you seen Demontre Jacobs kind of fit in with the offense and for help since he's come to the team?
Is that Trey? Yeah, no, he's just a guy that shows up. He works. He's played left. He's played right. He's done great things. He won the pickup award this week, so hats off to him for being a great teammate, running down. I think he had 11 pickups on the day. So that's something we're tracking. He's playing extremely well for a guy that wasn't with us in training camp in the OTA. So to be able to plug him in and have some success, it's really a credit to Scott Peters and Kugler and McCarthy in the O-line room, getting them ready to play each week.
Alex, earlier in the season, the Rams defense, Shula's a guy who's been under different coordinators with LA. I mean, last week he was certainly influenced by Rod Marinelli. Is it tough to go against a guy who really doesn't have a kind of core philosophy in a sense, or come from a tree, so to speak?
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely him putting his players in the best position to be successful. There's a lot of defense out there. As you go through each week, you kind of highlight the things that they do, and they do a lot. So our PowerPoint was longer than usual. So it's sometimes it's easy to hone in on a guy that only has one history. It's tougher when a guy's got multiple backgrounds, and really that's a tribute to him for using bits and pieces of stuff that he's learned over the course of the years through Wade Phillips, some Fangio in there as well. You see a lot of different influences, and they do a lot of things.
Alex, earlier in the season, I think after the first Jets game, you said Drake's footwork was a work in progress and that you just want to make sure he didn't revert back.
Yep.
What have you seen from him in that
Big growth. Yeah, some really pluses, double pluses on some of the footwork from this past game. Really understanding there was a play there late in the game to Hooper. That was like clinic tape. So when you take it off, you'll put that into that concept teach tape of what to do with your feet and your eyes and everything. So he's really just continuing to grow.
Two final questions. We've talked a lot about that and those situations.
Right.
Was that teach tape?
That's clinic tape. That went right on the the church. We call it a church situation. So we got to get the play snapped, get the completion, get down and clock it. 16 seconds is about the cutoff. So we were hanging on by a thread there, but everybody understood the situation. We practiced the situation multiple times. We walked through it on Saturday, the exact same situation, and came away with 3 points. I was really proud of the guys.
Alex, I think
What does that mean? Where does that come from?
Yeah, there's nothing that frustrates me more than watching guys not pick each other up off the ground. So we ask these guys to be great teammates, run to the football. When you run to the ball, good things happen. And then while you're there, let's get our guys off the ground. We ask the ball carriers, if you're on the ground, stay down. Somebody's coming to get you. And that's the mentality that we have. We play for each other. We call it for our brothers in the room. And I think we had 85 guys that ran to the football to get their guys off the ground. We had 58 different players that got picked up off the ground. I don't know if you see that across the league, and that's something that we take great pride in here in building this culture. Thank you.